CM Punk is not expected to return to AEW. We've got an update on backstage morale in AEW, and another Bray Wyatt tease has been spotted. Stay tuned for the news. Now, after the chaos of the first news video today ending in a fire alarm, an evacuation from the building, and then me taking the place of Adam, we're back for video 2, and we're kicking things off. Well, Adam's not expected to return here for a news video, and neither is CM Punk in AEW, because during a recent PW Torch audio show, Wade Keller recapped AEW Dynamite Grand Slam, which took place last night. Go and watch it if you haven't. The Acclaimed are the new tag team champions. I'm so happy. While speaking about the Ring of Honor World title match between Chris Jericho and Claudio Castagnoli, Keller noted how Punk's name was excluded when Ian Riccoboni talked about the big names that have held that title. Now, of course, Punk famously held that title and signed his WWE contract on that very belt. Keller also added that he doesn't expect Punk to return, and while nothing is 100% set in stone, things seem to be leaning towards a buyout of Punk's contract. Now, what did he say, Andrew?
He said, "I think this is noteworthy but not surprising that he excluded CM Punk's name as he talked about some of the biggest names who have held the title." He went on to say that that's a bit of a tell. As I talked with Jason Powell yesterday about it, I'm not expecting CM Punk to wrestle in AEW again. I'm not saying it's 100% sure, 100% sure thing, but everything is pointing in the direction of some sort of a buyout of his contract. We'll learn more eventually about that situation. And I think a lot of us have wondered what was going to happen. I think a few people were wondering if he was going to sit out his contract, but now obviously we've got details that perhaps there could be some sort of buyout in this whole scenario.
And it's not really surprising. It's the controversy that CM Punk has created recently for AEW has kind of been a pain for them. It's kind of been the topic of conversation. It kind of dominated MJF's return. It's dominated maybe not the actual TV content, because they've not actually referred to him at all.
And they've put on really good shows as well without these like top talents being there as well.
Absolutely. And then speaking of that, the recent quality of shows have seemed to have increased backstage morale, because Dave Meltzer is saying that, well, they pretty much have already in terms of returned to the quality they were before and returned to they've had a wee comeback. Locker room attitude is very positive, and the last 2 weeks of TV has been very strong, which I think we both can agree with. I think many people can agree with. I had kind of dropped off AEW in terms of, well, not dropped off.
Okay.
I felt like the storylines weren't as good as they once were over the summer, and I think that was they'd been backed into a corner. But I definitely feel the past few weeks have been a return to form.
Me too, definitely. Like, you know, and I don't want to be the person that absolutely dumps on Punk, because everyone will just be like, oh, you say this and this about him, what about the Elite? But like, when you look at things, when you see everything that's sort of spread out in front of us, what's been reported in the news and whatnot, like, we see a lot of sort of, there's obviously been backstage divide between the two, but from what we've heard, it feels as though CM Punk's presence in the AEW locker room has definitely divided a lot of people. And, you know, we heard about tensions boiling over and all sorts as well. And I think that can reflect what happens with the product on TV too. Now, obviously we've seen that, like, the Elite and CM Punk have been suspended, they've been away, and things just seem a little bit more, we've heard from reports backstage, that things just seem a lot more relaxed, and you know, that will reflect on what your product is like on TV, I think, as well.
Exactly, especially we've had reports of them having sort of backstage meetings, notably the one a few weeks ago with Moxley, Jericho and Danielson, all sort of leading it. Those seem like the guys that can really boost that morale in the locker room. And as much as you say, people can say what they want about CM Punk and the Elite and their suspensions, but it has seemed for a while that AEW's whole morale and their whole best place to work feel that they had at the start is kind of gone, and it might be returning here. It definitely feels that way. It's just very strange that CM Punk being a big part of the company for the past year, and there's no little teases of him on screen at all, like little hints at him. But we're going to move on to more teases just now, because on the poster for Extreme Rules, specifically the match between Matt Riddle and Seth freaking Rollins, because you've got to get that nickname in there.
Of course.
What is spotted in the background of it, Andrew?
There is a bloody lantern, Fraser, right in the background there. There's a bloody lantern with fireflies around it as well.
There is, I mean, that if that's not a tease for Bray Wyatt, I don't know what. It could just be a stock photo that they've used, but that does look, I mean, we've got the photo right in front of us and it'll be on the screen behind us. It does look very Wyatt-esque.
Yes.
The fireflies are there, and as far as I can see, that's not in any other match screen.
So I think there's only been 2 matches announced officially yet that have graphics, and that image there is not in the other match graphic either.
Now, does this indicate who if it is Bray Wyatt? Obviously we are speculating on that, but everything is pointing to him with the White Rabbit stuff. Now obviously if you want to look at all the little Easter eggs alongside this, we did a video on all the Easter eggs in the White Rabbit, so go and check that out. It's on the channel now, but we missed this one.
Oh really?
We missed this one, but this is very interesting because I don't think any of us on the video mentioned a possible feud with Matt Riddle or Seth Rollins.
I mean, Seth Rollins obviously had a feud with Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, in the past. It's in the fight pit. Now, if you want to grab someone and take them down with you with no escape, coming up in the fight pit.
The
Firefly Funhouse fight pit.
The Firefly, yeah.
The Firefly fight pit.
Interesting. Do you think he'll return to the Funhouse character?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think it will be something new. I think Bray Wyatt is fantastic at reinventing himself, and I think it's always exciting when we see something new on the table for Bray Wyatt that he's put like 100% of his soul into. I think it really shines, obviously, with the booking and everything we saw before. It is a done thing. We've all said it in the past. Obviously, it wasn't booked the best, and the creative direction for it in the end was it was dour. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was a shame to see, but I think they can really rectify everything here. Oh, I've not felt this excited about WWE for a very long time.
All right.
For a return, something feels special, which I think has been missing for many, many years at this point with WWE. And the way that they're doing everything, the way that they're teasing stuff, like away from it just being on TV, being in the live crowd stuff.
I mean, yeah, most of the teases have come from other parties, like the QR code leads you elsewhere, and that is really fresh. I said it on the video as well, but it's not like Vera's coming where it's just this person is coming to the show. This is like getting us to try and solve the mystery, which very smart from them. It's building up a lot of talk online.
Exactly, and that's what you want as well, isn't it? Like,
but looking at that poster, I think a match with Matt Riddle and a story with Matt Riddle could be very exciting between them.
I like that.
But sticking with WWE at the moment, we've got some details about the up and out policy for trainees. Now, what is the up and out policy, Andrew? What is the reports?
So the reports have surfaced the past few months regarding how WWE handles fresh talent on the NXT brand, including the fact that if a set of talent weren't meeting the company's expectations within 6 months, WWE would pull the plug on their contracts. Now, WWE SVP James Kimball has detailed the process of recruitment and talent releases during an interview with Graham Matthews for WrestleRant. He said, it literally is 6-month intervals. 2-year mark, you're up or you're out. Obviously, there's constant evaluation down the Performance Center in Orlando, coaching staff, our staff on site all the time, constantly evaluating, but formal, deliberate evaluations occur in 6 months periods. At that time, and again, these all kind of flow in and around the same kind of entry points. We'll do a tryout and then we'll do a set of releases. So obviously, it just seems as though if you've not hit that mark that they're looking for within the 6 months, your contract is done. If they see promise in you, they will very much keep
I mean, as brutal as that can be, it's also probably a very smart business decision, and we can't really criticize that aspect of it because they are signing a lot of, I would say, stars and athletes from other sports that have got a background in other sports, and you don't want to have someone on contract for 2-3 years that have made no progress. I can understand that aspect. It kind of sucks in the fact that people are losing jobs.
Of course, yeah. You know, Kimball also went on to say too that WWE hopefuls who have made it to the 2-year mark through this process but still aren't ready for NXT, they're just sent out the door. And as you said, I think it's a good way of keeping the process going at a fruitful rate to try and find talents, because, you know, like if you spent a lot of time on someone and they've not developed to sort of the point that you would like to see them develop to, perhaps they're not safe enough in the ring, or they've just not got that sort of natural athleticism about them, or just the ring awareness, then I think that's fair enough. You do want to find those stars on TV, and as we were saying, it's a business, and you kind of want to find them as fast as possible, but also in a safe way. You know that they're going to be fine going onto TV and developing and everything. You know you can see that progress. So yeah, I think as a business standpoint, it makes a lot of sense.
And in most jobs, you have a 6-month probationary period.
Yeah.
So as much as, again, it sucks that people might lose their jobs, that's a standard for most positions. Now we're going to round this video off today with a Guinness World Record being set by someone who we all can't see. It's, of course, Mr. John Cena.
No.
He set a new record for the most wishes granted through Make-A-Wish Foundation. A grand total of 650.
Wow.
That's insane.
That is insane.
He's granted more wishes than anybody else, obviously, by setting the record.
Yeah.
But, like, I think, I can't give you an absolute number, but I think it's, like, a significant amount more.
Yeah.
Like, even though he's just got the record now, he still had the most.
Yes.
So it's... I mean, it's not a surprise. John Cena is, of course, a great champion of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. He's done that for, what, 15 years now?
A long time at this point, yeah.
I would say maybe even longer, and he's always championed that brand, and it's really cool to see him actually get recognized in this way. Even now, as outside the WWE, he's still doing it. Yeah,
it just seems like a stand-up guy. Like, obviously, just wants to make people happy. And I think that's always been his thing, is just to like make everybody feel sort of welcome and feel loved and everything within every single aspect that he does, whether it's like the film stuff, he goes and he's dressed as Peacemaker and he goes to visit people, he does interviews, like he's very much entrenched in all the things that he wants to do, and you can see his passion and that he wants to give back what he's been given. And
absolutely.
It's really nice to see.
It's when you think of Make-A-Wish, you think of John Cena as it's sort of, you know, poster boy of doing all that sort of stuff. But it's really cool to see. But that is all the news we have for you today. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, go and check the White Rabbit video we've got out, where we analyze and discuss all sorts of things about the White Rabbit thing. Maybe he'll appear on SmackDown. Maybe it'll be another teaser. Who knows? But stay tuned. If there's any more news, we will be back. Stay tuned at cultaholic.com for all the little news throughout the day. We'll see you later.